Hello, it's so good to see you again. How are you doing? I had a good weekend and I got some much needed rest. I hope you got some rest too. Thank you for joining me on another episode of my YouTube Talks. Today, I'm going to explain to you why Trump tariffs are very good news for you and how to cut through the noise and misinformation that's surrounding them. So stick around to the very end and you will find out everything you need to know. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell before you leave. I will be posting every Monday and every Friday of every week, so stay tuned. As you know, I'm pursuing a PhD in economics, so this topic is right up my alley. So let's talk about what a tariff actually is. I will start with the basics. A tariff is essentially a tax or duty that governments impose on imported goods and services. It's a tool used in international trade for several reasons. Sometimes it's to protect domestic industries by making foreign products more expensive, and other times it's to respond to unfair trade practices or to gain leverage in negotiations. Tariffs are kind of like the chess pieces of global trade strategies. Now, why does any of this matter to you? Well, tariffs impact prices, the economy, and even your wallet. However, tariffs are more than just taxes. They're a strategic tool. Now, I do want to get a question out of the way. Is it possible for these tariffs to have negative impacts? Here's the truth. In theory, yes. However, it is unlikely. Let me explain to you what the Trump administration is trying to do with these tariffs. It's nothing more than a negotiation tactic to attempt to bring the prices down. We are currently living in an affordability crisis, but don't freak out. No crash is coming, so you can relax. However, this does mean that some corrections are needed. Prices are just too high. From real estate to investments and commodities, energy and gas. They are in need of a correction, a push to go down. Unfortunately, all the noise on Trump tariffs is shaping public perception before the results are even in. This is super disappointing to me because it's like tampering with evidence in a legal case. You're forming opinions long before the facts are even fully laid out. The previous administration did what they did, and we ended up where we ended up. So it is the way it is. Now the current administration is trying to take a different course of action. Therefore, the best approach is to just wait for the results, instead of playing the assumption game. That way, people can engage in a results-based conversation. Which brings me to an important point. My channel is fact-based, and I don't want to engage in any politics. Politics has no winning sides. They all lose. They just take turns on losing. The bottom line is, tariffs will simply adjust the prices. It can be up or it can be down. Allow me to explain to you why I don't believe the prices will go up. When the prices go up, productivity goes down, and then the revenue also goes down. Unemployment will then go up. With that will follow inflation and interest rates, which both will rise. In the end, the government needs more revenue, so the taxes will need to go up. At this point, we are talking about recessions and market crashes. Let me let you in on a little secret. Well, I should say it's not really a secret, but nobody is really paying attention to it. The Trump administration already lowered the taxes, and they will continue to lower them in the next several months. So, what does that tell us? That gives us a clear picture that the claim of prices going up is incorrect. It's the exact opposite. The government and current administration already lowered taxes. They already started to lower the cost of gas and energy. They cut the regulations so it would be cheaper for the companies to produce their products. But not too many companies have lowered their prices on their products. Why, you ask? Because they're trying to keep prices high so they can cope with the losses from 2018 up until now. So, what the current administration is trying to do is to punish the companies that don't want to lower their prices by slapping some tariffs on them. So, the businesses can hike up the price and pass these tariffs on to you, the consumer. Sure. But that would mean economic suicide for those companies because no company can afford to go to war with the US government over prices of their products. What will end up happening is the consumer will buy less and less products, and the demand will go down, and they will go under. What many companies don't want you to realize is the distinction between revenue and cash. Revenue isn't the same as cash. It's more like a promise of what might come in, rather than money they already have. It's a tactic often used to attract investors. On top of that, companies rely heavily on what they call economic projections, which are essentially forecasts that may or may not materialize. Finally, the tariffs put in place by the Trump administration are good news for you, and there is absolutely no reason to be afraid of them. Besides, a little birdie tells me that the prices will start to come down soon, and I'm willing to make a bet on it. But we will find out pretty soon, won't we? I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please take care of yourself, and I will see you in my next video to your left.